Welcome to the fight game. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and we're going to recap the fight last weekend with Canelo and Charlo. And we've been chomping at the bits to get to this because we do not agree what we saw last weekend. So I'm going to let you go first. What I will say is I'm very disappointed in Charlo. Very disappointed because it's almost like he wasn't even trying to fight to win, and he didn't want to fight. I saw him at one particular point, him coming out the ring, I think at a 10 or 11th round, his head cocked over to the side like a little kid, like, I ain't even want to be in this fight. I ain't even want to be here. And it was like his body language is giving you, the signal that didn't want to be there. I thought he ran all fight. I thought he didn't really kind of put up a strategy on, how to handle Canelo. He had the arm length, the reach. He had the height and he had the weight. And he said he had the skill and showed none of that in this fight. But your thoughts, man?
Yeah, we have been talking about this bantering back and forth. Um, I'll say this: I understand how people thought that Charlo fought Jamel Charlo fought a subpar fight, felt like he did not compete. I get that, but there have been a number of people that have faced Canelo, and I'm not saying you should run, but there are some times when you get into a fight or a boxing match and your strategy goes out the window because it doesn't work. And one thing Canelo, I would say for me that I saw out of him, and it's been a while since I've seen it, probably the best I've seen him so far from a defensive standpoint. No matter what Charlo tried to do, Canelo was more aggressive this time. He was going for the body. He kind of thwarted anything that Charlo wanted to do, and he used the advantage of being bigger, as far as being more comfortable with the weight. You could just tell he was more comfortable, and he got close, and he was hitting Charlo with shots that Charlo didn't like. So, with that being said, there was no game plan or didn't see any strategy. Mr. James could not get Charlo motivated. He just couldn't respond. And when you're hurt and you're hit, it happens like that sometimes. Don't you think Errol Spence thought he had another strategy when he fought Ted Crawford? When somebody beats you and has your understanding of your strategy, they knock you down. But also, and I'm not making any excuses for Charlo, but Canelo went through a whole entire division, took everybody down. All these guys were undefeated, and he beat them. And granted, you wanted to see more from Charlo? I did too. But part of this boxing thing, even though we don't want to admit it, and particularly now, I mean, some people they want people that are physical, they want the knockouts, okay? That's what we're used to. Some of them, I think Puma's the old school like that too, and that's fine. But sometimes when you fight in this game, it is about making sure you don't get knocked out. And Jamel Charlo did not. And I'll say this, I didn't like him moving around too much, running, whatever you want to call it. But I think the one thing in the end was that Canelo, why he said he respected him as a fighter, was this. Canelo has been known over the past years or whatever, so-called some of the best fighters, as Caleb Plant. We can go down the line. These guys supposed to be dynamite boxers and dynamite fighters. And he walked them down. And not only did he walk them down, he dominated them. And he put them down and he put them to sleep. Jamel Charlo came up 2 weight classes. No excuses here, but he didn't get knocked out. You may not like that. You may not like how it was done, and I get that. But sometimes when you go against one of the best fighters ever, it's better to, I guess the question is, they say, fall on your shield. You should have went out and just let him knock the hell out you. Some people say, no, I'd rather survive and fight the match. What's the strategy? I don't know, but I'm just saying, he went 12 rounds with a guy that's supposed to be the best in boxing right now. You may not like how he did it, but he did. You call it survival, whatever. He stood at the end. And I think Canelo was going after him. He tried to do everything he can. He was hitting him with those body shots, and he couldn't get him down. Whatever reason, he could not take him out. To me, that says a lot. But last point on this, because other people have done it and didn't come up do well either. Last point. It is amazing to me. Canelo goes up in weight to fight Bivol. And everybody talking about how great it was. He was a champion. He was a man's man. And he went out there trying to do the impossible. He was basically designed to be great. He's trying to be great. Charlo does the same thing, ran into a major issue. It was too much for him. He's a punk. He's soft. He ran. He's scared. All that stuff too. How in the hell do you legitimize one guy? Other guy though, he's soft. Y'all forgot that he still go back down to 154. Let me just say this. You forgot that he still go down to 154 and still make some things happen. So I'm interested to see. I think I'll get off this very quickly. I think the experience with Canelo is going to help Charlo in droves going back down. I think it will. I think people are going to be surprised because now he knows, being at that weight, what he can do when he comes back down. Some people may not believe that, but I think it's going to help him tremendously.
Here's the difference between what Charlo did and what Canelo did. Canelo was still fighting. He was fighting for a championship. When you're fighting for a championship, you gotta fight. You gotta fight. You can't lay down. This guy's an undisputed, I'm talking about Charlo, undisputed, champion, 4 belts. You left wondering, if you've never seen Charlo before, how the hell did he get his 4 belts with a performance like that? How the hell does he do that? And so I don't honor this. Oh, I survived 12 rounds with Canelo. I'm from the old school. You die on your shield. You go out there and you battle. If one strategy is not working, you have another strategy. You have cornermen for that. Okay, he's doing this. We got to do this. We got to win this fight. You're a champion. You're trying to get championship belts. You don't get it by holding and just kind of looking like you're not interested in the fight. There are 2 things that itch the crack of my ass during this particular fight. At the end, Charlo said, well, I wasn't myself in the ring. Well, you're supposed to be part of the lion den. Come on, the lion den, you and your brother. You're always talking about lions and fighting like lions and all that stuff. Did not see that here. There was no evidence of that. And then he started calling out other people. After you had a piss poor performance, you start calling out other people to fight. Who's going to want to fight you? And they ain't going to make no money if you're going to come in with the same performance. Because I don't know the numbers of pay-per-view on that particular fight, but it was a big disappointment because you expect 2 champions to sit there and battle it out to the end. I'm surviving. I went 12 rounds with Canelo. That doesn't do it for me. I have no honor for that because all pre-fight, we're talking all this trash, talking all this shit on, and you've been calling this guy out for years. Canelo's ducking. I drank the Kool-Aid with that. Because I'm like, maybe Canelo is ducking these guys because they're the so-called lions. Now I'm calling them the puppy pen because the brother didn't fight him for whatever reason. You got in there and you didn't want to fight. You didn't show any body language. You didn't show any strategy. What were you training for? You knew what this guy was capable of, and you sat there and you went out, just like Terrence Crawford said in a quote, saying, you went out like that. You're not even on my list anymore. Why should I want to fight you and be on top rank on ESPN instead of fighting for pay-per-view dollars, which told me that this guy is not in it to fight now. He's in it to get big paydays because maybe the fight is all out of both brothers, and now they're looking to get some paydays so they can step out. He went out like a limp, you know what. And that bothered me because people spend a lot of money for these fights. You guys promoted that fight like it was going to be some kind of championship fight, epic battle, and it wasn't. I don't want to see, matter of fact, the Charlos, I don't want to hear about the Lions Den. I don't want to hear about them trying to call out other fighters. I'm done with them. I'm done with them because whatever if it's mental health issues, whatever, if they don't want to fight, just don't come in the ring. But now you're looking up behind Canelo like, oh, he's an ox, he's that. Yeah, you knew that before. How come you didn't train and come to fight and down your shield? Because maybe I'm old school. When I look at Ali and Frazier, where Ali said if it was one more round, if Frazier didn't, concede and come back out, I'd probably die in the ring. Where are all those fighters that, this is for the championship and you just want to survive? People don't pay for you to survive. They pay to see a fight. We don't name this show the survival game. We name it the fight game. And we cover fights. Maybe I'm just old school and I'm looking for warriors or lions to go out there and fight and die on their shield, even though if they're outmatched. But you had advantages and you didn't come up with a strategy to win the championship. In a championship, he has 4 belts, you have 4 belts, and you lay down. as a champion, I got no honor. There's no honor in that. And there's no respect from me coming to the Charlos for looking at that. That was disgraceful. That was, and he was proud of his performance. What performance? You had a chance to build your legacy with Canelo. And now you calling out other fighters after the fight. You didn't fight the motherfucker that was in front of you for 12 rounds. How do I expect you to fight some of the other guys that have proven themselves as great champions?
Sounds great. I ain't mad at you. That sounds great. And you have a right to your opinion. Still gonna keep it in 100 with you though. It's not the way it was back in the day. It's not. It's not been that way for a long time. You know, when Mike Tyson came in, everybody lost their freaking mind.
I'm just saying. Then what are we doing?
I'm just saying.
What are we doing, Ice? What are we doing?
I'm hearing you. But for you to say, I mean, you can say what you want to, but for you to tell me that just it's the same boxing, it's not. Hasn't been for a long time. It's not. When we're coming up in the 70s, long time ago, people that saying that's young, there was constant where Ali would come to the ring knowing anytime he literally had a match on his hand. If it was Ken Norton, right? If it was Joe Frazier, if it was the counterpuncher, Jimmy Young, there were so many different people that you had to fight. Ken Norton broke Ali's jaw. There was always a fight. It's not the same. I'm not saying that Charlo should get a pass. He did not give the best performance. I give you that. And he came in, whatever. He didn't give the best performance. But to act as if he's the only one that has ever done that, no. It's the way boxing is now. There's only a few guys out there now that you go, okay, we know that guy's a champion. We know he's a dog. A lot of people doing this stuff. And you know, other people get passes. Caleb Plant got knocked the hell out. He boxed round for round and he ran too. He got knocked out. He got knocked out. Nobody talking about, well, at least he down on the shield. No.
I mean, I talked about it.
But I'm just saying, he was undefeated. Everybody talking about, you need to go out on your shield. Get knocked the fuck out. Yeah, okay.
Because I said that Caleb Plant wimped out in that fight.
Right. But see, but because Charlo is the champion, and I guess because it was a lot of hype, and he did come in with as a champion at a lower weight, yeah, it's a lot more disappointment because you expected more from him. I get that. I'm not giving an excuse on that. But for me, I'm not going to act as if he's the only one that does it. It's a lot of people stealing money. A lot of people. Oh, yeah, I like the Charles. I thought he was going to do a better job. I thought his brother was going to do a better job. And he had opportunity. And yeah, did he wimp out? Did he punk out? I will agree with that. But to act like he's never done nothing else or he can't fight anymore, that's cool. You have a right to your opinion. But there are a lot of people that punked out against Canelo. He walked through them. He went through a whole division, as I said, cleared out all these underneath fighters because they weren't ready for him because of his style. So just to go Charlo away because he didn't step up in one particular fight, I get that. So granted, what I'm saying to you now is if we go back down to 154, I want to see these guys that's talking all this shit to see ready for him, to take him down in. Tszyu, right? Crawford, whoever it may be. Let's see if he's still a chump at 154. And I'm just saying, if he does punk out again, I'll be the first dude to raise my hand. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Based on that performance, if you were a promoter, how do you build that guy up that we saw Saturday to get the major dollars to fight somebody like a Terrence Crawford or a Spence or some of the champions in the lower weight class? Because what I saw Saturday, you can't sell that fight anymore the way he fought in that fight.
Well, I'll say this. You can't sell it at 168. You can't sell it at 168. It was 168, right? It's not 154. If he gives me that same energy, that same performance at 154, I'll be the first dude to say, you know, you're absolutely right, Puma. I didn't see his heart. I didn't see anything this. I give you that 100%. That's 168. It was 2 levels above. And I'm not giving that as an excuse. He should have came in stronger. He should have gave a better performance. And he should have, as you said, went out there and gave the best that he can for the people. He did not do that. I grant you that. But that was at 168. If the same thing happens at 154, you got Tim Tszyu. Everybody's talking about he's this and that. You got Terrence Crawford saying he's not on the same wavelength. Well, bring your ass up to 154 then. Let's see what happens. I'm still saying I think he's legit at 154 still. And I might be wrong. But I think he learned from that. Canelo's a different beast. Everybody's not going to be that same size or whatever, and his punches are going to be more intense when he fights that. So the Andres, whoever else it may be at 154 that wants some. Ask Lubin. What he does at 154. We're going to get to that
in a second.
I'm just saying, ask Lubin what his power is like at 154. All I'm saying is whatever you decide to do, disappointed, I get that with Charlo's performance. But I'm just saying, I'm not throwing him away because he did that at 168 against supposedly one of the greatest of all time. I'm not, it was a sorry effort, yes. But I'm not throwing him away till I see what else at 154. And you can still sell that fight at 154 because now that Tim Tszyu is feeling like, well, he gonna be a punk against Charlo. I know I can whoop his ass. I want to see it. That will sell because everybody now gonna be lining up thinking they're ready. Where Keith Thurman at? Bring the boys up. Where Danny Garcia at? See what it's about then. And if he does the same thing, again, I'll be the first one to raise my hand, say he ain't ready. He just ain't about the money. But until that time, I'm not writing him off. I will say this, Derrick James, bro, you need to figure it out because your cats is running out of strategies and you got one-shot deal and it's a problem. It is a problem. Errol Spence didn't have a backup strategy. When his stuff got shut down, his strategy got shut down. Same thing with Charlo. And there needs to be a way for you to reconnect and get these guys back on point. Because right now in the last two fights, we didn't see it. Yeah. So let's see what happens. All I'm saying is, y'all do what y'all want to. I'm not throwing Charlo away just yet. We'll see. I think he still can do it like that. And if he does come back and punish some people at 154, remember we told you that first.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna spend time watching it at this particular point because all that lip service for all these years, he's ducking us, this, that, the other, blah, 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 the Lions Den, all that stuff, that just washed away from me in this particular fight because you had your shot. You had your shot. You got the man you called out. Then you had the nerve to call out other people after that man just made you look like a little boy in the ring. I can't honor that anymore. So when next time Charlo fight, we'll cover it, but I probably won't be watching it. I'll watch the replay of it because I'm not going to waste my time for 12 rounds waiting for him to do something, waiting for him to take charge, waiting for the Lions Den to show up, and it never showed up. I don't care about, jumping up in weight. I don't care about all that other stuff. You were talking all that shit before the fight, and you could not back it up. So in the street, that means, you know what? When you can't back up what you're saying,
I'm with you 100%, but I'm going to tell you this too. If that was the case for me, I would have stopped watching boxing 30 years ago because it's changed.
I understand it changed, but I'm not happy with the change where you are a champion, two champions go at it. You expect, if I got to limp out of here and, I'm thinking, I'm doing anything and everything to keep what I have. And you just did not see that. I don't know where these guys are bred from, but you just didn't see that. It's a gladiator sport. I look at MMA, I look at boxing the same way. It's a gladiator sport. And if you ain't up for the challenge, then sit your ass down and shut up. But for the Lions Den, puppy pen is what until they prove me wrong, they are the puppy pen as far as I'm concerned.
Like I said, I understand. I was just going to say one last thing off of this. Canelo went through one whole damn division. And not only did he just barely win, he dominated. Nobody was calling for them dudes, calling them punks soft. You said about Cato Plant. He went through a whole division above him and cleared it out as the undefeated fighter. Nobody talked about, oh, you know what? If you a man, stand on your shield, stand up, you an undefeated champion. They didn't talk about that. They got a pass. But Charlo, because of the fact that a lot of the hype and everything, he let people down. Yeah, I get that. But let's get everybody in the group.
Yeah.
It's like Barry Bonds. They tell me he the only one that shouldn't go in the hall because he's on steroids. Mark Aguirre. It's the same. If you in the group, you in the group.
But the difference is Charlo wrote a check that his ass couldn't cash.
But the other dudes did.
He talked a lot. Nobody talked as much as Charlo. Okay. Nobody called this guy out more than Charlo. And you didn't perform.
No. I get that. What's the one kid that everybody that fought Tank Davis? The kid that everybody talk about, he's a joke kind of.
Garcia?
Not Garcia, not him. The other guy, the one, the Joker, the funny little dude. Yeah. And everybody talking about the fighter. He talks stuff all the time. He shouldn't even be on that level. But they're giving him boxing about, oh, he really get a shot. Rolly, whatever his name, Rolly, yeah. Rolly Romero, whatever the hell his name is. Everybody talking about, all I'm saying to me, there's a number of other people that do the same thing. I think Charlo butthurt a lot of people because he showed potential. We thought he was going to give us more than he did. And when he didn't, he totally disappointed us and made people pissed off like yourself. And I get that. You have a right to that. But again, that's this sport. It's not the way it used to be for me. And I don't see it like that. There's only a few guys that I can count on my hand and I go, now that's Shakur Stevenson. I'm the first dude like, that shit hurt me.
Yeah.
Special dudes. Charlos are good, but are they special? Let's see.
Right. So there were two other fights on the undercard. You had Jesus Ramirez, who got the fight stolen from him from Erickson Lubin. I felt so bad for Ramos because I went after the fight, I already knew who won. I went to the kitchen to grab something to eat. And I could hear the TV in the living room like, and the winner, Erickson Lubin. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Who was judging this fight? And then Lubin coming afterwards like, yeah, I want to do something. Dude, you didn't win. You didn't win. You should humbly just say, you know what? It was a good fight and take your ass back to the dressing room because you got beat. I felt bad for you guys because I'm like, you guys shouldn't be fighting anymore. Because Barrios really kind of just put a beating on him. And it's like, what happened to you guys? It's like, it was like his timing was off, everything was off. Your thoughts about those two fights, man?
We're going to start with Ugas first because the same eye, everything was swollen, and it's just like a repeat of the last fight. I'm not sure what his mind was. If he's not, it doesn't appear like he really wants to fight anymore.
Right.
I'd rather see him retire and walk away or fight some guys that he could beat because the will of something is missing. And maybe the guy was better than him, right? I'm not sure. Maybe he was just better. But I'd expect a lot better effort from Ugas. So I don't know where he's at right now. That's a major disappointment. Errol Spence Jr., I get that, right? It's a different level. But this situation, I was a little shocked. And Mr. Lubin got away with. Now, when his trainer was telling him what to do, and the trainer was like, what the hell? We won that?
Everybody was shocked.
Trainer was like, boy, you lucky as hell. But I'm interested to see how what happens now. Because now Lubin's in that position with that belt, right? And I'm interested to see what happens. There are some people that's going to be gunning for that belt. So the question is, where does Lubin want to go? Does he want to go back and says, well, Charlo lost. He might be easy pickings now, which is, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So now you feeling good because Charlo lost. I think I can get him now, right? He didn't step up. Puma already said he wasn't ready. Puma said he looked whack. He's soft. So maybe now is the time for me to get him. Be careful what you ask for, Lubin. Go ahead, and then he'll get another belt. But I think Terrence Crawford may be looking at that belt, right? Danny Garcia's at 154. Some other people at 154 are going to be looking at that belt for Lubin. So Lubin, you might want to take some time, get your rest, work on your game a little bit, and make a wise decision as to who you fight next. And I guarantee you, if I'm his trainer and you call it a punk, soft, whatever, ain't no rematch, dog.
My grandmother used to call this a come to Jesus meeting. Lubin, you need to have a come to Jesus meeting. Give that belt to Ramos.
No. Hey, he didn't make the call.
Oh my God!
Look, that's on the ropes.
That was Rob. They usually don't go for the brother.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Those decisions don't go to the brother all the time.
Let's talk about that. That.
Usually it's like, oh, the brother got robbed. I was like, on Mexican Heritage Month, this brother take a title from him. No, that's not right.
Let's talk about that because we normally don't say. We usually say the brother got robbed.
Right.
And some people at home were saying, damn, we finally got one.
Yeah, I felt bad because I'm like, dude, you did not win that fight. And
because
people were booing, and he was talking like, he had dominated the fight. And I'm sitting there on the TV screen like, you gotta be kidding. Maybe they wrote the wrong name on the card. It was unanimous. And I'm like, what?
Hey, sometimes, you sitting there, you look at the person you watching the fight with, even by yourself and go, so damn, that's what it feel like when somebody get robbed. You're like, so that's how they feel when brothers get robbed all the time. And I'm talking about just people in general. But I'm just saying, just knowing how that was, I was like, I was talking to one of my guys, and he said, I said, oh boy, want to fight. He was smoking. He had put his stuff down because he was like, what the hell? What the hell? Hey, I want to give kudos real quick to my man, Harvey Doc, bro, friend of the show, refereeing his tail off and getting a lot of love. He's probably ref both the two major most important fights in Las Vegas, out of New Jersey. Hell of a dude and doing a hell of a job right now. Glad to see you on your come up, bro. You know, ain't nothing but love here. Love to have you on. We just want to talk about the experience. Soon. Yeah, man, we love to see you on, man. Because
we know you can't talk about the decisions, but
and that's fine. We don't want that. We just want your experience and how you rising, bro. That's all we want. We know you can't talk about the fights that you covered. We get that, but we would love to have you on, man. I'm gonna reach out to you. You know, I know you're busy, but we love to have you on, brother, because it's all love over here, bro. All.
Another fight that's in the works, we talked about before the show, Tank Davis versus Keith Thurman. They're talking about December 9th. I think that would be a great fight, especially because Thurman's been out for a while. Not saying Thurman will come in and win, but it would be good to see him come back and, die on his shield, so to speak. If he's going to fight, let's do some fighting here. I'm old school. I want to see some fights. What are your thoughts about that?
I like the fight. I like the chance because we get to see Tank Davis against a legitimate welterweight, like a bigger guy, right? A bigger guy. But Keith is a little long in the tooth, and he say ready. And, you talk about that Charlo talking. Keith talking a lot. He said he fight Boots Ennis. He'll fight a lot of different people. And one thing we know about Tank Davis, he can punch. And I hate to see it where Keith Thurman looked real old like Pacquiao did in one of his fights against Ugas. Because it's one of them things, you go from 1 to 5, and then by round 6, he turned to stone. Look like an old man. You're like, damn, is he getting older right before my eyes?
That's what it looks like with some fighters. It's like they get old right before your eyes, right there.
Yeah. And I think that's something where Tank Davis was like, yeah. And Tank will take it because if he does that, it's like, you know what? I told that old man don't come over here mess with me and knock his ass out. And if he does that with a guy that's crafty and has a lot of experience, it's going to really add more of a mark on Tank Davis's resume, because it's a legitimate former champion that says he's ready to come back. And if Tank Davis, literally that's annihilates him and takes him out, Devin Haney, you might want to be on notice, bro.
Yeah.
You might want to be on notice.
True. Any other boxing news we should be aware of?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of potential fights coming up. We said before there was Demetrius Andre versus David Benavidez. I think that's going to be a hell of a fight because we know Benavidez, both of these guys want Canelo. Benavidez is now being taken a little bit more seriously than he was before by Canelo. And one slip up by Benavidez, his chances of being able to face Canelo is probably worse, right? So with that being said, this is a kind of do or die situation for him. Looking forward to that. Last point on this for me, I guess one of them is, we know Jermell Charlo just fought. I know he doesn't want to talk about Lions only, but let me say this. If there was a fight I do want to see, just because I think would bring some joy and a little enjoyment to the fans, Jermell Charlo versus Caleb Plant. We're getting slapped on social media. Why not, man?
Oh, yeah.
Why not? If we're getting slapped, to see who wants it the most in the ring and get paid some money. If you can watch my man Nate Diaz take that dive, no, all love, Nate. I ain't mad at you. I'd take the money too. If you can watch my man Nate Diaz come in out of shape and just come in there and roll around a little bit before he loses, you can damn sure watch Charlo versus Plant.
Bring lots of drinks and wings, and I'll be there.
Entertainment, bro. It's all in. I try to tell you.
I'm not into the entertainment part. See, I'm surprised at you because I know when the folks started fighting and it was entertainment, you were like dead set against it. Now all of a sudden you kind of just resigned to the fact that this is the way it is.
Yes.
Old school. I can't accept that.
What you tell me? Remember when we first started? You was all entertainment. You got Snoop Dogg over
You got Snoop Dogg commentating the fight. I'm there, man.
That's what I'm saying. Remember you told me I was doing? So guess what? I said, you can't beat them? Shit, you might as well join them. So here I am. I see it for what it is. You know, Snoop out with them things and, you know, all that stuff popping. Concert at halftime or middle of the road between bouts. I'm with it now. You know, get them edibles rolling. I mean, I ain't advocating violence. I'm drinking or smoking or eating or whatever you're doing. But the whole point of it is, hey, I might as well join it. Y'all don't care. I don't care no more. I'm still giving you the best in coverage. I'm going to give you what you need when it comes to real fights. But I'm no longer going to sit up in here act like these warriors are. It ain't like that no more. It's not like that anymore.
For me. It's got to be for me.
I understand, and there are going to be fights that it is, but it's also going to be like, why in the hell is Roy Jones still in the ring?
Yeah. And I got nothing but love for Roy, but I don't want to see him in the ring. I think he's a better trainer and getting these fighters ready. But that's another show, another topic. Anything else before we get out of here?
Just thank y'all for watching. Continue to check in on us. We'll have some good things coming up, a lot of good fights coming up. If you have anything you want to say, reach out to us. Let us know what we're doing, bro. We really appreciate y'all. Like I said, this is a different, please comment. This is the different type of show. We try to bring you something real, something tangible. We'd like to hear your responses, some comments, because that's why we're doing it. You know, you can get some other stuff, some other places, but I'm telling you, as you can see, I'm not trying to be funny, but you can see the credentials in the background, bro. Been there, done that. We talk about it. We try to put it down. This is all about you guys. We want the realness. So some people are doing what they do. I ain't mad at you. Hate the player. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the game. But, hey, we here for y'all, man. So whatever it is, whatever you want to talk about, what you want to see, bring it on. We can start some chats, whatever you guys want to do. We can really bring, because I think we had some great conversation, and we here for y'all when we talked about that boxing and that little bit of that MMA.
And we're going to get to some MMA. There's some fights coming up. So we're going to get to some MMA. So hold tight. We'll get you. We got you. He's Icewater. I'm Puma. And this is The Fight Game.